and welcome to our YouTube channel, Abundantly Purposeful. I'm Shelly Schell, and I'm a financial advisor and a certified divorce financial analyst. And I'm here today with my amazing co-host, Kristyn Cozad.
Hi, I'm a purpose coach and speaker, and I'm super happy to be with you guys today as we do our fall series and start talking about what it really looks like to be planting seeds in the quiet fall season when other things are dying away, what it looks like. Shelly and I started talking about this about a year ago. We came up with a list of topics that we wanted to engage here. And one of them had to do with fall. So obviously the time is perfect right now. But I remember her saying something to me that she says about as we go through winter, it's not dead, it's dormant. And I loved that. And I loved the idea. I don't know anything about not only Game of Thrones, but I don't know a lot about gardening either. Shelly does know a lot about it. So that's what we're talking about today as we move into fall and we start talking about what we're planting for those next seasons.
So I have a whole series it's an educational series for my practice to help educate on money and investing. And it's called Seasonal Finance. And it's so, this whole conversation around seasons and things like that are so personal, and I connect to this so closely because I know the routines and the rituals I have every season, right? As we, we all do. There's just different things that we do different times of the year. And some of them are going to stay the same, like changing out your wardrobe and things like that, depending on where you live, to adjust to the change of weather. Well, one of the things for me, the fall is a beautiful time of year where we live in Colorado, and probably similar around the country, right? But the hard thing for me is, we've talked in the past, is moving to the thought of winter and what happens there. And so what I try to do, and I do very actively in my garden, is I'm harvesting, but I'm also thinking about, okay, what am I going to plant over the winter that's going to bring new life and inspiration and joy come the springtime, right? In the garden, right? Specifically is what I'm talking about. But that's also true for life. And so when we think about seasons of the year, it's not just about what Mother Nature does to change and to recreate herself and to help herself. Like the trees are dormant. They need that time in dormancy to be healthy, to protect their roots, right? During a cold winter, but they'll come out of it. And so what do we do as people? How do I do that myself? How do I teach that to people that I work with money, so that they're not always just in the same mode all the time, right? We don't have the same season all year round, no matter where you live. We still have different seasons of the year, even if they're less extreme. So I just think it's such a great analogy and comparison to look at what's happening around you outside in the world with Mother Nature and bring it into your heart and to your soul, and make room for that.
I love that. And inspiration is one of my absolute favorite words. And what are we inspired to create? What do we want to see? Paying attention. We talk a lot about vision, paying attention to that bigger vision for your life. What seeds do you need to plant in this season? And what do you need to reflect on? And thinking about, simplifying and decluttering and letting go of things so that you have that space and that healthy soil that Shelly's talking about. Thank you for the gardening lesson. I have a rose bush that I haven't even looked at trimming. I'm afraid of it. So, but I appreciate the idea of that. Really, it's just the cycle of life, right? It's how it's good to check in once in a while. And the beginning of a new season is a great time to do that. And especially right now, as we're coming into this last section of the year, this last quarter of the year, that we start thinking about what things don't serve us. What things, when we have a house full of stuff, there's no space for anything new to come in, unless we start piling it on top of everything. And that just is it's a physical feeling in our bodies when we have too much going on. So how do we declutter and simplify, and how do we make space for planting those new seeds? Is there anything involved with gardening, Shelly, where you have to sort of clean out the old in order to to plant the new seeds?
Well, that's interesting. This time of year, I'm really actually
It might not even
visualizing.
be a thing. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
thing in the house. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking.
Well, you're going to have plants that have grown. I mean, absolutely. So take your garden, for example. I'm a gardener. Take my vegetable garden. Okay. All my vegetables are coming out. They're fabulous right now. Like my zucchini grow a weed. They literally are weeds. So if I don't check them every couple days, I've got these giant zucchinis that don't taste as good. So I'm trimming those. I'm harvesting those on a regular basis. Well, when we get our first frost, I will go out to my garden and poof, everything will be dead. Okay. It will just look horrible. It will be a totally different environment. And that is an emotional, it's always a shock to my system that it kills them that quickly, right? A frost, so quickly. So I have to clean it out. I have to clean that out because I don't want to leave that dead, decaying plant life for the next year because, it's not just like leaving leaves on your grass all year round. It can create mold and ickiness, right? So that's the same thing inside of us. So absolutely in the garden, you do clean that out. You clean up the leaves as they fall off the trees. You don't leave them all winter. And if you do, it's not necessarily going to kill the grass, just like if we're not cleaning out ourselves and our souls on a reoccurring basis. It's like your analogy. We can continue to pile on those boxes and those things at home to make room for new things, right? But how does that really make you feel? And we know from the garden analogy, it's not healthy for the garden. It's not healthy for the soil. And it's not going to help your plants or your grass come springtime.
Right. Everything becomes stagnant, right? Their movement is a good thing. And that's kind of like, as you go through the season too, it's the pruning. Sometimes it's cutting back something so that's what I know that one. Sometimes
pruning that rose bush is going to make it healthier in the winter.
At some point, yeah. But it's so fun because the idea of really clearing that away, it gives us space in every way, mentally, physically, emotionally. And really, it's a great parallel, whatever we're doing in our gardens, like the seasons of that, preparing for the next, it's really valuable for us to be doing in our own lives as well. To be, what area of life do you just feel there's a stagnancy? Is it your finances? Is it your health? Is it community? Where do you need to sort of like shake the tree and let the leaves fall and just let go? So my action point for you this week is to really take an inventory. Take an inventory of where in your life you need to remove some of that stagnancy and get some movement and some airflow going towards the bigger vision that you have for your life. Write that out, schedule coffee with a friend and share with them sort of where you're going. It's always great to have a buddy in the process that knows you pretty well, and maybe they could even reflect for you things that they see that would be helpful for you.
I love that
person. Yeah,
I love the buddy,
Shelly.
So I, usually give a tip on money and finances. And so what I will say is, I think you all should my call to action is to check out my seasonal finance at seasonalfinance.com, my program where I give you tips around the seasons and, different ways to think of your money, because that's the goal, is to every season with the rituals, just make it part of your habit, right? Like, this isn't having to invent something new or add something to your to-do list. It's simply making it one of those rituals that you just do regularly every season, is check in with your money. And so that's my call to action.
And her videos are beautiful. So I highly recommend checking that out. It's a great way for you to get educated with a trustworthy source and a trustworthy person who really, I've seen Shelly in the past couple of years, this process of what's unfolding with her and these videos. And it's been amazing. And this has been a real heart project for Shelly, because she wants people to be educated and to provide that safe space for you to learn how to do that. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we are abundantly purposeful. We are unscripted. Clearly this month, our videos are very different. And but it's always fun to be here and to be in the conversation. And we ask that you please subscribe to our channel for our weekly messages and leave comments if you have anything that you would like to add. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.